Welcome back. This is First Up, and cutting straight to some breaking news. There is word coming from Rawalpindi. The Pakistan Army has accused the Indian Air Force of crossing the line of control and trying to bomb installations in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Now, Pakistan Army spokesperson Asif Ghafoor has said, and I quote, Indian Air Force violated the line of control. Pakistan Air Force immediately scrambled. Indian aircrafts have gone back. Unquote. Now, he's further stated that the aircrafts intruded from the Muzaffarabad sector. These are big claims that are being made by the Pakistan Army. Indian Air Force violating the airspace along the line of control is what is being claimed by them. Executive Editor Gaurav Sawant now joins me live for further inputs. Gaurav, these are massive claims by Pakistan.
You know, this is huge. This is huge. What is being claimed by the Pakistan Air Force. So this is Major General Asif Ghafoor. He is the chief spokesperson of the Pakistan Army, and he's saying that Indian Air Force crossed the line of control and dropped a payload. Now, payload is a technical Air Force jargon for bombs. So he's saying that the Indian Air Force bombed Balakot, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Balakot, is a known terror launchpad and training camp. So if what he says is true, because as of now, well, we are hearing a lot of inputs from sources in the government, but nothing official just as yet. There was air activity being reported from across the line of control. There are some open source intelligence sites that are also reporting heavy air activity till about 2 hours back. So if this is true, then this is massive development taking place, Griha, that the Indian Air Force, you know, between India and Pakistan, there was a confidence building measure that said that Indian Air Force or Pakistan Air Force fixed wing aircraft will not come 10 kilometers from the line of control, and rotary wing or helicopters will not come 1 kilometer or 5 kilometers depending on which position this is near the line of control. But here Pakistan Army is saying that Indian Air Force crossed the line of control, went into, came from the Muzaffarabad side, so which means it's where I am, Srinagar. It's happening from this axis, went into Balakot, dropped a payload. Pakistan claims that they scrambled their jets and Indian jets came back after dropping the payload. Pakistan, of course, also claims that there are no losses or damage reported on the Pakistani side, but we will still wait for an assessment. And from what we are hearing from sources, there may be a statement made by either the Ministry of Defence or the Government of India in a while from now, Griha. But
Gaurav,
if what
exactly,
Pakistan is saying is true,
I was actually getting at that, because you know the Pakistani Army spokesperson has actually gone ahead and put it out there in black and white. So these are big claims that are being made. The word is coming from Rawalpindi. So the Air Force, the Army, has to respond to it.
It would indeed have to. It would indeed have to. One, the fact that Pakistan, an early morning, so this was put out, and we've been watching Pakistani websites for quite some time. We've also been watching on the internet air activity that's been taking place. So yes, advanced early warning airborne systems, they are up in the sky. Mid-air refuelers are up in the sky. And what is Pakistan actually reporting? Pakistan is reporting that Indian Air Force jets crossed the line of control from Muzaffarabad side. So Muzaffarabad, as the crow flies, we're at Srinagar, then you go travel up towards Uri, and then you're into Muzaffarabad. So that's their claim, that Indian Air Force jets came in from the Muzaffarabad side, went down to Balakot, and that's where they claim that Indian Air Force dropped its payload or dropped bombs. What did Indian Air Force drop their bombs on, if it's actually true? Did they target terrorist training camps? Did they target Jaish-e-Mohammed launch pads? Because Balakot, so there are 3 or 4 very well-known terrorist launch pads and staging camps on either side of Pir Panjal. So what was it that the Indian Air Force was targeting? And the fact, in case what Pakistan is saying is true, Griha, this means that India is using air power in response to Pakistan's state-sponsored terror. This is extremely significant. This is a paradigm shift if Government of India actually confirms this.
Absolutely. Gaurav, stay on with me. I'm also now joined by Shiv Arur. Shiv, this is a big development coming early on in the morning, as Pakistan Army spokesperson Asif Ghafoor has gone ahead and said that Indian aircrafts have gone ahead and violated the Pakistani airspace along the line of control. Big claims there by, Rawalpindi. first reactions, considering in the morning we have had a ceasefire violation along the line of control, ample retaliation by the Indian Army as well, and now this.
Griha, like Gaurav just said, we're all awaiting an official confirmation from the Indian Air Force and the Indian Ministry of Defense. I've personally just, gotten off the phone with the spokesperson of the Indian Ministry of Defense. They've assured us that there's going to be an official statement in a very short while from now. We don't know what the nature of that statement is, whether it's going to clarify or deny what the Pakistan the DGISPR has just said. But like you very correctly said, this is a huge claim to make. And if, and I agree completely with Gaurav when he says that if this is any kind of, an airstrike on terror launch pads or terror training camps in the Balakot sector. And the Balakot sector is just adjacent to Poonch, which is a huge infiltration highway, Griha. Then, this is going to be a paradigm shift. Gaurav is absolutely right. It's going to be the first time that the Indian Air Force has applied air power in peacetime against Pakistani terror camps. So this is an enormous piece of news if it is true. Remember that on social media right now, the only thing that has happened officially is what Pakistan has said. It's a highly unreliable country that always tries to put up a brave face when force is applied to it. This happened during the Abbottabad raids as well, when Pakistan initially said that nothing is happening and that all is peaceful. So at this point of time, my antennas have gone up completely. I'm sure Gaurav's antennas have gone up as well.
Absolutely.
We would not like to put out any sensitive information right now, but my sense right now, Griha, is if something like this has actually happened, I'm not saying it has, I'm just saying if it has happened, then it's quite understandable that Pakistan may be trying to put up a brave face, try and kill the element of surprise so there is not too much hoopla on social media, try and destroy the Indian government's opportunity to make that big announcement and really try to preempt any element of surprise of this news actually breaking from the Indian side like it happened during the surgical strike. So my sense is that, because remember, we are dealing with a country that doesn't really care very much about the loss of its own citizens, about the loss of people it claims to protect, vis-a-vis the Kashmiris, doesn't really care about the lives of those people. So if in the event that the Indian Air Force has actually conducted airstrikes in some of those places, and if people have been killed, I wouldn't be surprised if Pakistan says it has no idea.
Stay on with me. I'm also getting retired Air Marshal, Vice Marshal Kapil Kak. Sir, your first reactions, big claims being made by Rawalpindi there that the Indian Air Force went ahead, violated the Pakistani airspace along the line of control.
No, but they have not. What we are missing in this whole picture is that merely stating that Indian Air Force has violated airspace doesn't mean anything. It could be the usual peacetime violation. It could be a million things. They have not elaborated on what is the nature of the violation, what has been the damage on the ground, and these are the details which indicate that there is some serious business going on in terms of airstrikes by the Indian Air Force. I do not get that picture now. I do not from the information that has been conveyed by you.
Because they have gone ahead and claimed that there has been no loss of life. The Pakistani military, the Air Force actually went ahead, immediately scrambled, and then the Indian planes returned to their country. So this is what is the claim that has been made by Major General Asif Ghafoor over there.
We have to professionally analyze the situation. ISPI's General Ghafoor would not be so naive to say that the Indian Air Force violated, we sort of scrambled or we took some actions and they ran away. That is not going to be the case if the intention of retaliating for Pulwama is to use airstrikes. Airstrikes are a feature of determination.
Right.
They are a feature of positivism and the reflection of a high morale that their power is being used and air warriors have been given the go-ahead to strike. They don't, because some fellow has pooped off a few guns, they don't just come back with weapons that we are not going to strike. I'm sorry, this is very this would be, if this is the interpretation, then it will be a very poor reflection of our larger cause and determination to strike against targets in Pakistan in retaliation to Pulwama.
Right,
I
sir.
don't.
Right, sir. Also, retired Major General G.D. Bakshi is also with us on the broadcast. But before we go to you, sir, we would, our executive editor, Gaurav Sawant, would like to ask a few questions with you. Gaurav, it's over to you.
Air Vice Marshal Kak, isn't this a paradigm shift in India's response to Pakistan's state-sponsored terror? In case there is an element of truth in what Asif Ghafoor says, he's saying that India dropped a payload, Indian Air Force dropped a payload in Balakot, but he's also saying that no damage reported so far. So he may be downplaying it. Surgical strike, Pakistan was caught unawares because India went public with it first. This time Pakistan saying, okay, Indian Air Force came in, but no damage done to us. They dropped a payload. But this is a paradigm shift, Air Marshal.
No, in terms of the Gaurav, you have analyzed this for a long time. The country is waiting because the impression has been given that the retaliation is imminent. In what form it will be, we do not know. But the way this instance has been projected, I'm afraid it doesn't reflect that some payload has been dropped, and the paradigm shift is in the intention to retaliate in a different form.
There is no reflection. Yes, the use of air power. Air Marshal, stay with me for a moment. I also want to bring in Major General G.D. Bakshi. So General Bakshi, India says we will respond. India responds. So Pakistan saying no damage, but we will wait for assessment. And General G.D. Bakshi, you have commanded a division in that area, and you know Balakot is a known terror launch pad both for Lashkar-e-Taiba and for Jaish-e-Mohammed. General Bakshi.
I'm Wing Commander Bakshi, not General G.D. Bakshi. Hello, Gaurav?
Okay, Winko Bakshi, you joining us. Okay, Wing Commander Praful Bakshi with us. Yes, Winko Bakshi, welcome on the broadcast. Okay, Winko Bakshi. So, is this a paradigm shift in India's response? Well,
let us not use this word. It is a proper method of responding. If India has responded, and if it wants to use its air power, it will use its air power. And when you use your air power, you carry out your strike for fighter bombers with escorts, and you carry out whatever the word payload they are talking of is the bombs, the missiles, the rockets, and the guns duly carried out. And if it was carried out, and the aircraft returned when the fuel runs back, aircraft has to return within 45 minutes or 1 hour, and that is what the flying time for the aircraft is. If the Pakistan scrambles or doesn't scramble, it is their SOP. So it makes no shift. We should not play with words. And if Indian political mind has decided to carry out airstrike, they have carried out airstrike. And why shouldn't the airstrike be carried out? And why we did not carry out earlier, that was a political decision then. We should not bother about
absolutely.
that. What is a political decision now?
Okay, so you're saying it's a political decision. Stay with me. I also have India Today's consultant editor Shiv Arur with me on that big story that's breaking from the Pakistani side, of course. Shiv, while we wait for an official confirmation, this is massive griha that Indian Air Force, according to Pakistan, and this is breaking from the Pakistani side. We are still waiting for an official confirmation from Government of India if air power has actually been used. Because remember, for the past several days, there has been air activity on either side of the line of control. And Griha, there is a confidence building measure in place between India and Pakistan. Fixed wing aircraft will not go up to 10 kilometers of the line of control, so that there is no apprehension on the other side, and rotary wing not 5 kilometers. In some cases it was changed to from 5 kilometers and 1 kilometer. So if Pakistan is claiming that Indian Air Force came across, struck at Balakot, which is fairly deep inside Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, then one, it's a huge development that's taken place, and two, for Pakistan Air Force may have scrambled, but then they were able to achieve precious little, Griha.
Also, Gaurav, the fact that Shiv was mentioning, Shiv is back with us. In fact, Shiv, you were also mentioning that Pakistan might just have preempted a response from India because we still are waiting for a confirmation. The Pakistan Army Chief in the past has also mentioned very recently after the Pulwama attacks that any kind of aggression or retaliation by India will be acted upon with equal aggression. So don't mess with Pakistan is the official word that the Air Chief Marshal there and the Army Chief have also, and also the Pak Premier has gone ahead and said in their statements time and again. So this also might well just be a preempted response till we get an official word in.
Very, very highly likely, Griha, and you're absolutely right. The Pakistan has been shameless in how it has tried to preempt, news from breaking about any aggressions on its soil. And has always tried to play them down. Remember, the DG ISPR, Hassan Ghafoor, has basically said no damage on the ground, payload released, all these very namby-pamby, harmless kinds of words being used to describe what appears to be an airstrike. I want to just say again, once again, because our viewers, there is an absolute frenzy right now on social media. So I just want to tell all of our viewers and all of India Today's followers on social media as well, there is a statement that's going to come out very soon. It's likely to flesh out what has happened. It could very well be that airstrikes have happened, but let those details come officially. This is far too serious a business, to go only on, on buzz, Griha. But I want to also say that if in fact we do get a confirmation shortly from now, Griha, that airstrikes have happened, it would basically confirm what Gaurav and I have been saying since the Pulwama attack, that the air power, the use of air power against terror camps in POK was probably the most logical step that India could have taken. A land attack or a surgical strike by special forces was always going to be hugely difficult because Pakistan, like we reported, has been on maximum state of alert since the Pulwama attacks, Griha. And therefore, the use of air power, where the Indian Air Force jets didn't have to technically cross the line of control, but may have actually violated that buffer zone, was the logical aspect of it. What these jets may or may not have dropped, we don't know just yet. What was that mysterious payload that fell in Balakot, which the DG ISPR claims did not cause any damage on the ground, is still very, very mysterious. What I can confirm to you, definitely beyond any shadow of doubt, Griha, is that there has been a lot of air activity, even this morning from the Western Air Command, which governs that entire space. There has been a mid-air refueler aircraft. There has been an airborne early warning and control aircraft, and these are battle-ready aircraft. These are aircraft, designed to give Indian fighters a pair of eyes in the sky. The mid-air refuelers are there to give them longevity and endurance in the sky, and therefore, it would seem like there is something afoot. My antennas, like I said, are definitely up. We're waiting for an official confirmation from the Indian side. There is likely to be a briefing. This is going to be a very, very interesting day. And I also want to add, and I want all of our viewers to remember this, Griha, that if India has dropped bombs on Balakot today and used air power in Balakot, it will be the first time since 1971 that we've done so across the line of control.
Right. Shiv and Gaurav, in fact, stay on with me. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi is also with me on the broadcast. So, as Gaurav and Shiv have been rightly mentioning, if at all this attack has happened, we also have to take into account that Pakistan has done nothing for the terror that emanates from its soil, especially Jaish-e-Mohammed. We also have reports that Pakistan has gone ahead and given Jaish-e-Mohammed chief a VVIP shield there in Behrampur. So, these are also fresh reports that are coming in from Pakistan. So if at all this attack has actually happened, by the Indian Air Force, it could be a targeted attack.
Well, if this attack has happened by the Indian Air Force has carried out, well, it is they have targeted the right places, whichever they wanted to destroy, and it is a outcome of all the reluctance and all the namby-pamby action which the Pakistan was taking. So India has taken a very firm action. And why I'm surprised is that everybody is surprised that we have crossed the line. Why shouldn't we? This is the attack helicopters, the fighter, the strike fighters, they're all required for that. We should be using a heavy artillery also across. Where is the problem? The question is, we must have the will. Either we say we don't want to fight, or if we want to fight, then we should do that. and we are doing it now. So this is a red letter day as far as I'm concerned, and I actually congratulate, if Indian government has done it, I congratulate them on this issue.
Change in stance by the Indian defense and the military and the Air Force when it comes to, if at all these attacks have actually happened, how do you see this change?
I see it's a tremendous change, and I can also now visualize these attacks are there, and the ground action will follow. It should follow, though in a limited manner, because it's in POK, and as we have already been saying, we can follow it up, but the question is, we have carried out this strike. This is actually a punishment to these camps which are carrying out action against us. So this was the right way. Balakot, being at a distance, required a strike fighter, so a strike fighter was required. Whatever system we had in our hand, we have used it in a very effective manner. And this is what, if we have used it, is we used it very nicely. And question is dropping the load, etc. These are very SOP terms. Dropping the load. Well, the dropping the load is there, and no damage has been done. That we'll wait for the assessment. We'll wait for the truth to come out. What is the whole thing? So we should not worry about it. But as the political decision is there, and we could have made out from the Prime Minister's statement, etc., that we are now firm on our resolve to carry out what we are going to walk the talk, and we have done it.
Right. In fact, Gaurav, as Wing Commander Bakshi has gone ahead and mentioned that these are SOPs that Pakistan is actually going ahead name dropping, and we have to also see that India has withdrawn that most favored nation tag from Pakistan. There has been a global isolation that Pakistan is facing after that Pulwama terror attacks, and as I was mentioning, that VVIP shield to Jaish-e-Mohammed chief also has to be spoken about today.
You're absolutely right. Yes. Griha, this is a multi-pronged offensive being initiated by India, and Shiv, if I may bring you in, and Griha, this is extremely significant. So while Pakistan Air Force is reporting, or Pakistan government is reporting that Indian Air Force has hit targets in Pakistan, Shiv, there are also inputs that are coming in that seem to indicate that there are skirmishes going on along the line of control south of Pir Panjal. And Shiv, this is massive, because this would give us an indication that this is a multi-pronged offensive that is currently underway, because ceasefire violation by Pakistan and India's punitive response to ceasefire violation is massive, Shiv.
That is correct, Gaurav. Remember that ceasefire violations by Pakistan have taken place on multiple occasions since the Pulwama attack. And in this particular case, if India has taken the initiative with airstrikes and, kinetic action on land as well, it would basically prove that there has been, a multi-pronged offensive for punitive action against Pakistan. I just want to reiterate once again that we're awaiting an official response from the Indian MOD. Once again, while you were on air just now, Gaurav, I once again checked. There is a statement that's going to be coming in a very, very short while from now, and we're going to have that live. What the nature of that statement is not clear right now. I imagine, Gaurav, that whatever action has been taken, is going to be revealed to the Indian people for certain. Because remember, the specifics of what the Pakistan Army and the ISPR have just said, cannot be ignored. They've said that Indian aircraft crossed the LOC, not just, dropped a payload, and then dropped a payload in the Balakot sector, which is adjacent to Poonch. So if this is, in fact, what the Pakistan Army is saying, then it proves that kinetic action has been taken. And Gaurav, it would mean the first time since 1971 that India has used air power in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. It means a decisive move by the Indian government to use the maximum, element of military strength, that is air power, against Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Remember, this was an option on the table after the 26/11 attacks. This was an option on the table after Pathankot, after Uri, after Nagrota. And if it has happened now, it means that history has been set aside for this to actually take place.
Significant, extremely significant. Shiv, stay on with us. Shiv, stay with me. Let me now quickly cut across to Pakistan and let me bring in Professor Qamar Cheema, a noted defense analyst in Pakistan. Qamar Cheema, what can you tell us? We've seen what General Asif Ghafoor has said. He's talked about IAF aircraft violating your airspace and dropping some payload in Balakot. What more can you add to that, sir?
Well, I think we'll still have to look what the response of the Pakistani government comes on this. But definitely, we were expecting that any kind of a jingoism from India is expected because the elections are approaching and Indian Prime Minister, for his own vested interest and for his own political interest, may use Indian military as a tool to do something that may destabilize the peace in the region. And that is why we were communicating to the diplomatic community in Islamabad, and we were communicating to everyone that do not trust on the Modi government, do not trust on the Modi, that they may do something that can give them some political advantage. Although the Pakistani Air Force was alert.
We have some elements saying that here too, but
they knew that.
So I just wanted a military assessment of the situation on ground. We'll get into the analysis in a moment. We have the entire day, but I just want to understand. So what you are saying, and I want Shiv Arur also to come in on this. Qamar Cheema, what you are saying is that Indian Air Force jets, they crossed the line of control. They went from the Muzaffarabad side down to Balakot, dropped bombs in Pakistani territory, and came back. What was your Air Force doing, sir?
I'm saying the Indian government would have done something just to get the public domestic opinion and domestic support. I don't know what is the nature, since we have yet to get what the government of Pakistan's response comes.
Right.
So this is too much early in the morning here in Pakistan. It is 7:30. So even the government offices are not open. So definitely things are not clear. But definitely for the small political incentive, Modi government would do something to get a political support. This was very much a narrative here in Pakistan, and that was the Pakistani government was telling the diplomatic community in Islamabad.
All right, we will have to quickly slip into a break. We are continuing with this big coverage, huge claims by Pakistan there that Indian Air Force violated the Pakistan airspace, entered the Pakistani occupied Kashmir there along the line of control. Big claims there by Rawalpindi. We will be staying on the story.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you would love to.